All right. We are going to go ahead and get started. Hope you're ready for a wonderful 2026. We're going to go ahead and get started. As we get going, I want to lay out a couple things first. So please feel free to share. We all get the most out of the workshop if we share. So feel free to write in the chat or come off of mute or raise your hand, whatever works for you. Just the best thing to do is to be able to share. We all get more out of it. I'm able to give you some feedback. You also get feedbacks from our other friends who are here today. So by all means, feel free to share. I'm going to give you the overview in just a little bit, but we're going to break today's workshop down into 4 different sections. We'll go through that shortly. But at the end of each section, we typically have a journal prompt or something that gets you thinking after an exercise, and that's a great time to share. Now, to get you in the mode of sharing, I just want you to take a few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, to reflect on this past year, on 2025. Take just a few moments to reflect on 2025, and then write down 3 wins that you had last year. So 3 wins that you had in 2025, meaning something that worked out well for you, something that you're happy about, something you're proud of. It doesn't necessarily have to be work related. It can be about family or personal or financial or health, exercise, physical, whatever, spiritual, whatever you see as a win. Write down at least 3 wins. I started doing this with everyone on the workshop, similar workshop we did last week, and I started journaling my 3, but then I just kept going. So by all means, 3, start with 3, but if you want to journal more, we want to celebrate last year, but then move into 2026 with momentum and ready to accomplish great things. So take just, maybe 1 or 2 minutes real quick, and using your journal or piece of paper, write down 3 wins that you had this year. All right, take maybe just another 30 seconds or so. All right, so feel free to share if you want to share. You can put some in the chat there if you'd like. And I gotta say, I started doing the same thing as I did last time. I started writing down some wins. Now, this week, I'm going to be working on my a report, 2025 report. measuring my wins for last year, how I stacked up on my goals, and I'm also doing my goal setting for 2026 using a lot of the tools and resources that we're going to discuss today. So, great way to fully. Usually, I do it a little bit earlier, but with my wins, 2025 wins, I'll go through. We're under contract on a house up here in Vermont, where we just moved in July. We've been renting a house since then, and we're listing our house in New Jersey, where we just moved from. It was a big move to move our family up here. And I started teaching yoga this year. I finished the course at the end of last year to become a certified yin yoga instructor in yin yoga and meditation. And also, we launched the Thrive in 25 course last January at about the same time. And I finished editing my book. So it was a pretty big 2025 with lots of big changes for me. So feel free to share if you want to share in the chat, or by all means raise your hand, or come off of mute and share some of your wins for 2025. All right. So if you want to at any point add anything you want to in the chat, we're gonna move on now to a grounding exercise. Pamela, I'm glad you're able to reconnect with relatives. It's so incredibly important to stay connected with our friends and relatives and our kin. It's really important. I value family so much, and try to keep in touch with everyone. And yeah, Deborah, you moved from California to Tennessee, and you read the entire Bible. Impressive. New home is paid for. That's very impressive. I wish I could say that as I'm about to close, or hopefully get to close and go to a new house. Um, and you're now after school Bible school teacher in Tennessee. Hey, Sally. New job. That's big. Started budgeting and new relationship. Yeah, I need to work on budgeting as well. And congratulations on new relationships. I hope they thrive and prosper. It's always what we put into them that makes the most of the relationships. So thank you guys so much for sharing those. If anyone else wants to, by all means, feel free to share those. As we get going now, we want to start with a grounding and meditation exercise that we usually start our courses with. It's just to become fully present here in the workshop today, meaning not distracted by the phone or text or email or social media. Just take a moment. I want you, if you're comfortable, you want to close your eyes, or maybe just bring your gaze down low if closing your eyes isn't comfortable, and just start to notice your breath. And if you can, breathe in and out through your nose. So breathing in and breathing out. Just notice the air coming in and going out through your nose. Try not to get stuck on any thoughts. Just try to notice the air coming in and out. Maybe you notice the air coming in and out at the base of your nostrils, or even just feel that little space between the bottom of your nose and the top of your lip. Feeling the air going in and going out. An inhale followed by an exhale. Just be fully present, focusing on the breath. Now, if a thought does come in, really normal, just notice it. Be the observer of your thoughts, not the thinker. Your spiritual self exists beyond all of the thoughts that come in and go out. The mind is active, but your spiritual self is beyond them. So notice the thoughts, but then wish them well and send them on their way, just like a cloud coming in. You see a cloud and then it passes by. Just let the thoughts go by like clouds floating through the sky. Observe them, wish them well, and send them on their way, focusing on the breath. An inhale followed by an exhale. Now, once you've found your regular breath and you've detached from all the technology and notifications coming up, be fully present here. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. So first, I'll tell you, then we'll do it together. So first, you want to take a deep inhale through your nose, hold it to the top, and then sigh it out. So deep breath in through your nose, Take in little sips of air, as much air as you can take deep down into your belly. Hold it to the top and then sigh it out. We're going to do two more of those. Deep breath in through the nose, hold it to the top, and then sigh it out. And you're going to want to take one more deep breath, but you want to take as much air into your belly as possible. You want to get as much air deep down into your diaphragm. So take deep breath in and hold it at the top and then let it all go. And then continue to return just to your normal breath, to the normal pattern of your breath, breathing in and breathing out, if possible, through your nose. And we're just going to take a few more seconds to be fully present, noticing the breath. You can use this anytime your chest feels tight or you find yourself getting upset or anxious. Just take a few minutes to find your breath. Find stillness. We want to release what didn't work for you last year, what wasn't your highest and best version of yourself, and what held you back. You just want to let that go, like letting those deep breaths out. You just want to let it go. And now take just a moment to bring your hands to heart center, putting your hands in front of your heart, palms together, and just close your eyes for a moment and set your intention for the new year. Setting your intention for 2026. What is it you hope to realize? What is it you will manifest in your life in 2026? Take just a few moments and set your intention for the new year. All right, now start to flutter your eyes open. Become present here in the workshop after you've found some grounding and you've set your intention for the new year. I want to talk about the workshop overview. So, if you've struggled to stay consistent in 2025 and you want to get consistent this year and achieve your big goals, if you weren't consistent last year, it's not that you were falling short in life. You may just have been trying to force a version of success that wasn't aligned with who you truly are. So today we're going to reset that and we're going to rebuild from your true self. Now, the four things we're going to cover today, I mentioned four different sections we're going to cover, are first, why most goals fail. Second, how to set the right goals. And third, how to build supportive habits, meaning habits that support those goals. And lastly, how to get back up when life throws you off your routine. In other words, how to build resiliency. Now, hopefully you have a desire to achieve great things in 2026, and we're going to give you the tools to do that. I love this quote by Napoleon Hill, who said, "Desire is the starting point of all achievement. Not a hope, not a wish, but a keen, pulsating desire which transcends everything." So if you have a desire to make 2026 your best year ever and move past all that has held you back from living in complete happiness and bliss, to be the successful person you know you're meant to be, then we're going to turn that desire into action. Action that you can take today with a clear path forward to make 2026 your best year ever. We're going to mold that burning desire for love, happiness, and success into real action you can take today to live the life of your dreams. We're going to do this by aligning your dreams with your habits. I know you wouldn't think that just setting some habits for a new year, setting some resolutions would be all about aligning your dreams, but we want you to be the version of yourself to live life on purpose that you are meant to be. So, how do I know this works? Well, I know it works because I've done it over the last 7 years, going on 8 years. It took me a ton of trial and error and learning to get to a point where my big goals and my daily habits are aligned so that I can live the life of my dreams every day. And with 5 kids ranging from 4 to 17 and running 2 businesses, I absolutely have to be focused and disciplined to ensure that we all live happy and productive lives. And it's not easy. It's a challenge sometimes. We might even be adopting 2 additional kids this year, which, seems crazy. But, they're very close with us. Their mother's been struggling with some issues. And, we love them dearly and want to provide a safe, happy home for them. So, you know, with all that going on, I have to be absolutely productive every minute that I have because there just aren't enough minutes to help take care of everything. So I'm going to save you the year's worth of learning and mistakes that I made to become who you're meant to be, to live the life of your dreams now. So if that sounds good, come on and join me. Let's get focused and get going here in the workshop. And don't worry, it isn't that hard. It just is going to require a system that works for you. And we're going to give you that system today. And, even after today, we're here to support you. We're actually, not that you necessarily have to do it, but we're doing the same workshop since it's the beginning of the year, tomorrow and Wednesday as well. And we'll have some additional tools for you to keep going and make this your best year ever, including our True Self project that we've just launched. And we have a new course that we're about to start as well. So at the beginning of last year, we held this inspiring 8-week course called Thrive in 25. It was to kick the year off right, and it was to implement big goals. A lot of the things we'll talk about today, but in much greater depth over 2 months. We met once a week for 8 weeks. And at the start of the course, first week of January last year, I shared this statistic that less than 9% of adults achieve one New Year's goal, meaning 91% of adults who set goals, and this is those who actually set goals. Think of all the people who don't. But 91% of adults who set goals reach 0 of them. How sad is that? That people want to do something or change something in their lives or achieve something, and almost no one does. We're going to get to the root of that. I put tons of time and research into figuring out why this is, and we're going to give you the system today to allow you to achieve the goals that you set this year. So you are in that 9% of folks who actually achieve their New Year's goals. So some of the common reasons that goals don't stick are, first, an unclear vision. Second, external pressure or distractions. Most of us can attest to all the distractions in modern life, all the notifications and dings and pings that keep us distracted. Next, unrealistic pace. I've been prey to this before, and that is where, you want to achieve a goal, but you set a time frame to do it, and it's just not achievable in that time frame. So you end up getting frustrated and give up because it was an unrealistic pace to achieve that goal. So you might have been fired up at first and you start working on it, but then it falls short because you'll never get there in the time you set for yourself. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, and you heard me mention the True Self project, and we have our True Self system and our True Goals worksheet. One of the biggest reasons that goals fail is a lack of identity alignment, meaning your goal is not aligned with your true self. And that's one of the biggest problems, is that people set goals and then they do that based on expectations of others, but not necessarily being true to themselves or living their life on purpose. And so they fail because they know they're not supposed to achieve those goals because they're not their goals. They're goals they think they should achieve or society tells them they should achieve. So, here's another quote, and you're going to hear a lot of quotes today because I love quotes. but they keep me inspired and give me insight that I hadn't necessarily had before. So I love this one by Robert Brault, who said, "We're kept from our goal not by obstacles, but by a clear path to a lesser goal." We're always taking detours and getting off the highway to our dreams, not because it's too hard or too far, but because we're distracted by what's right in front of us. Meaning, these folks were on their way to hike to the summit of the mountain, but instead they saw a sign that said, "Great view this way." So they all went running over there instead of proceeding to the summit. These folks did not get distracted. They weren't distracted and they kept going to their goal, which was to get to the summit. And the view is much better over there at the higher height of reaching the summit. Look, does scrolling through news or social media get you to your goal faster? No, it fills your brain with negative inputs of others and wastes your time and takes your mind off of what matters most, off of your big goals, off your family. Our addictions to the phone, alcohol, drugs, the negative news stream, social media, all keep us distracted from our goals. The distractions take us from what matters most, from our dreams and from our loved ones. And Blaise Pascal, famous French inventor and mathematician, said, "Distraction is the only thing that consoles us from our miseries. And yet, it is itself the greatest of our miseries." Meaning, distraction is the greatest of our miseries. I mean, we can't stay focused. We actually started a new workshop at the end of last year called Focused and Free Workshop, Break the Distraction Cycle. I'm not sure when. I think maybe another week or so. We're going to bring this back, and we only did it once or twice at the end of last year. But we figured the distraction is such a big reason why we don't reach our goals. So we want you to be totally focused and inspired in 2026, to be focused and free so you're not distracted. And even if you're not distracted by all the modern distractions in life, many of us are kept from our real goals by that clear path to a lesser goal, meaning something just comes up. That's why so many seemingly successful people are not happy. They may be achieving personal and work success, but they're just accomplishing small daily tasks. Misaligned goals, meaning goals that aren't aligned with your true self, create confusion, anxiety, and burnout. You know, inside, a lot of people are unhappy because they're not aligning their daily habits with their big goals. And it creates confusion and leads to burnout. You go one way when your true self knows you need to go another way. And it creates anxiety and confusion. But clarity brings confidence, and confidence is contagious. You got to be clear. And once you're clear, you can share that with others. That's why it's contagious. When you're clear on who you want to be and clear on your goals and clear on the habits that are going to help you get those goals, then you're living as your true self. We all have a small voice inside that speaks to us about wanting an amazing life. It nudges us to our personal and professional dreams and clamors for true love and happiness. I want you to give a megaphone to that still small voice within. That is your true self and your higher power directing you where to go. When you listen to your inner voice, you are aligned and living on purpose. When you're clear on your goals and they are aligned with your true self, you can live the life of your dreams. This alignment brings excitement and confidence to every day as you move towards your goals. And even on those days when you don't feel it, you're able to jump right back in when life knocks you off because you're clear on your goals and you're aligned with your true self. Now, we've talked about why goals fail. These are the primary reasons why goals fail. But let's talk about a goal or a resolution. Let's talk about like the beginning of the year. Let's think of a goal or a resolution that you set in the past but didn't reach. What do you think got in the way? So take another moment, we'll do at the end of each section. Just take a maybe 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and think of a goal or a resolution that you set in the past but didn't reach. And what do you think really got in the way? And remember, it could be some of the things we talked about. It may be something else. It could be, lack of identity alignment, meaning your goals not aligned with your true self. It could be an unrealistic pace, unclear vision, or it could even be distractions or external pressures that get in the way. So take a couple minutes, think of a goal or a resolution that you set in the past and didn't reach, and what do you think really got in the way? All right, take just another few seconds here, 30 seconds or so. All right, thank you guys so much for sharing. So these are great, and I think we've hit on some of the reasons. We didn't hit those. Um, Yolanda, you didn't believe it was going to happen. I'm not sure why you didn't necessarily believe it. Maybe it wasn't aligned with your true self. But don't put a goal in place if you don't believe it's going to happen. You got to make it happen. And you'll in a little bit we're going to talk about big goals and why we set big goals and whether it does or doesn't happen. If you set a big goal, you're going to end up much further along than you would have if you hadn't set a big goal. So I don't want you to give up. Um, you know, just I want you to believe it's going to happen. I'm going to give you some tools to be able to realize that. And we talked about sticking to an exercise routine. Sally, I know that we can do that even if injuries do get in the way. I mean, my wife ruptured her Achilles, which we'll hear me talk about later. That was a big interruption and sort of knocked all of us off our routine. But, there are always things you can do otherwise to keep you active. So keep going. And, one thing I had on there was I had in my goals this year, one of my top three goals was to create an interview series to interview, inspirational and spiritual leaders and make that available to folks called Habitually Inspired. I laid out all the framework for it and everything. I didn't quite execute on it. Um, I don't know, maybe I was nervous about actually doing it, but external pressures or distractions got in the way, and I didn't execute on it. Um, and Chad's had a resolution last year to work with clients in the music industry, and didn't really take any steps towards it. I guess due to an unclear vision, it looks like. But making moves this year towards making it happen. So starting 2026 off right, Chad, that's awesome. And Pamela assisting, certain goals of numbers of buyers and sellers with dreams of home ownership. I guess you're a realtor or financier or something, and hopefully you're able to do that this year. Hopefully you can help me. I'm under contract on a house. So anyway, um, and Elena, optimal physical health was my goal. Didn't do the research needed and use that info of those practitioners to help me reach my goal. Yeah, there's a great book by Dr. Benjamin Hardy called Who Not How. It sounds like you're looking for those practitioners or folks, make that commitment, find the people who can help you reach that goal, to bring greater accountability. And Deborah, it looks like you have your hand raised.
There we go. I didn't find my unmute. Yeah, I have some things that I've really wanted to study and pursue. And I've always, I seem to thrive more with others to, guide me in school. I've always liked that. And here I really need to fit it into my life, which is very busy, as a solo, act. And so I just kind of go like, no, I'd rather opt for what I have on my social calendar. So I find myself often saying, no, I don't want to do it alone. I don't want to do this because it's too lonely. Yeah, too lonely. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's where, you can also get support, maybe not even on those things that you do want to achieve, but you've probably heard me talk about before, is accountability partners. I have an accountability partner, Lori McCrae. She's been my accountability partner, for going on 5 years. She and I met on a group similar to this, on a global mastermind group, for entrepreneurs. She owns an architecture and interior design firm in Cayman Islands, and we just met like this together. Like you guys are here. And granted, part of that group was to get accountability partners. Um, they encourage getting an accountability partner to match you up. So, if anyone does want an accountability partner, by all means, reach out to us. We can put my email down in there. It's ben@benparvey.com. Um, but having an accountability partner is a great way to share your goals, and it doesn't have to be as lonely. Lori and I share our annual, quarterly, and monthly goals. We update each other, and we do a call every Friday or every other Friday to just report on where we are in business and our goals, et cetera. And it really helps. So that's a great way, Deborah, to help you, with an accountability partner. And it looks like, Sally loves the idea of having an accountability partner, and so do you. So, you guys want to, I don't know if that's, necessarily a match made in heaven. You can try it out, or not. If it works for you, great. If not, you can message each other separately and try it. And you can also, I'm happy to help, share some of the tips and tricks that, Lori and I have used to keep each other accountable over the last few years. So,
That would be
um,
great. Should I email you then, Ben? And can I connect here with Sally as well?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely.
I'll
Um,
send you an email request.
okay, great. And then I'll email both of you and give you guys some of the things that, I've learned over the years about accountability partners. I think I write about it some in the book. Yeah, Chad said that's great. Maybe a guide in the future. Yeah, we should definitely get a guide going on that. Pamela would like an accountability partner as well. So yeah, Chad, we should definitely match some folks up. So, um, anyone else? I think we had Carl had down that his body surfing goal um, didn't work for him since he had lack of time management. Yeah, I mean, time management's the distractions, but you know what? I do want to say something about time management. And, I've always had an issue with time management as well. But in the new year, we make time for the things. If you really want to make it happen, I mentioned that quote by I think it was um uh no, it wasn't Blaise Pascal. I forget who the quote was that I had at the beginning. Napoleon Hill said, yeah, Napoleon Hill, desire is the starting point of all achievement. Not a hope, not a wish, but a keen pulsating desire that transcends everything. So if you truly want to achieve something, like I truly wanted to write my book, Light in the Mirror, uh, I made time for it. I started writing instead of meditating, journaling, and sticking to my morning routine. For 6 months straight, I wrote during the week, not on weekends, but during the week, Monday to Friday, I would write my book from 5:30 to 7 a.m. every morning for 6 months. So if you truly want to achieve something big in 2026, you got to make time for it. Block it as sacred time. And, if someone says, can you do something else? No, I can't do something else. I'm going to be body surfing to reach my goal. So we got to stick to it. We got to stick to our big goals. I'm going to deviate some from, our regular workshop curriculum because it's so important as we start in 2026 to keep in mind that we want to achieve our big goals. But I'm going to give you the tools to do it, but I also want to inspire you to do the hard things, to say no to people, to say, no, I can't do that. I know you've heard it over and over, but no is a complete sentence. No, I can't do that. I don't have time for that right now. My life's too full, maybe some other time, but I got big dreams I'm going to achieve. So I would say, Carl, block off some time. Pick which day or days. Maybe it's every day, maybe it's once a week, but that's your body surfing time. And no one can interfere with that. If anyone wants to know where you're going to be, at Friday at 10 a.m., you're body surfing because that's your goal this year and you're going to hit it. So anyway, yeah, let's really stick to our goals this year and not let anything get in the way. So we talked about things we didn't necessarily reach last year or a goal or a resolution that we set in the past but didn't reach. And some of the things that might have gotten in the way. But now we want to talk about aligning your goals with your true self so that this is the way forward. So we're going to talk about, which you heard me mention a minute ago, setting big, expansive goals, ones that excite you, and aligning your goals with your true self because that's what sets you up for success. So, typically we've done this as an aligned habits workshop, and we're changing it for being an aligned New Year's workshop because we want you to align your habits, your goals, and your dreams. So we're going to start with your dreams and your true self now, and we'll get to the habits. But the reason our aligned habits workshops typically start with dreams and goals is because it's good to have good habits, but where are they getting you? Are they aligned with your goals, your dreams, and your true self? If you want clarity in your life, you need to know where you're headed. You need to set goals and you need to make them big, really big. So I want to start with a question. Where do you want to be in 10 years or in 20 years? And don't worry about where you are in life right now. It doesn't really matter. If you're 30 or 50 or 70 or 90, there's no end to what you can achieve at any age and at any point, but you have to think bigger. I'll give you an example. My dad's 82 years old. He still practices medicine 6 days a week. He sold his practice a couple of years ago, but he still works at Children's Hospital. Used to work at St. Jude, now he works at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital. And, he loves caring for sick kids and loves being a doctor, but he knows he's going to have to retire at some point. But, I was talking to him the other day and I said, look how things are going. You may live for another 20 or 30 years. You could set big goals. You could have a whole nother career for another 20 or 30 years. You could live to be, 100, 110. Who knows nowadays? So what's your big inspired goal? It doesn't matter where you are right now. What seems outrageous to others, but in your heart is what you need to do? It's always been there. Since you were little, it's been there. Or maybe it came up more recently, but in your heart, there's something that you have to do. That is your true self. That's your North Star. That is the direction you need to head in 2026. So, in thinking about setting big goals, I want you to think most people set goals as though they're, going to be themselves in a couple years, but just a little bit older. But my question is, are you the same person you are today that you were 10 years ago? No, not at all. But we set goals and plans as though we'll be ourselves, but just a little bit older. Meaning you'll have the same life circumstances, but you're going to set the goals, playing it safe, like you're just going to be a little bit older. But it's not the case. You'll be a totally different person in 10 years. I'm 51 now. I look where I was at 41. It seems like more than a lifetime ago. I was a totally different person then. I've done so much since then. Uh, so I want you to really concentrate on making big goals because there's this skill called prospection. It's a psychological principle. It's prospection is the ability to mentally represent and evaluate possible futures. It's a fundamental psychological skill that includes planning and imagining future scenarios. And when we envision future scenarios, we oftentimes limit ourselves to what we know now, what you know today. But there are no limits. Our goal in this workshop is to open our minds to think without limits. I want you to just think totally differently. My life has changed so much through different chapters in life. You can create whole new chapters today, starting in 2026. As a young lawyer, I worked myself so hard that I got multiple sclerosis. I woke up one morning, I couldn't lift my left foot, and 2 days later, I lost the ability to hold a pen in my right hand. And it was the end of my second year of law school. And, it's kind of essential to be able to write and type with your hand. But, you know, a little bit later, 2 years later, I lost sight in each of my eyes at different times due to lesions of my optic nerves. Our body is miraculous, though, and it heals itself when we care for it properly. And thank God, I've now gone almost 19 years out without another flare up. Now, I slowed down a little back then, but as a lawyer and then entrepreneur and young parent, I wasn't listening to that still small voice inside that was telling me to live as my true self. I was just running in circles, hoping for things to get better. For years, I saw sad eyes looking back at me in the mirror, wondering why I hadn't hit my potential. I knew I wasn't living as my true self. Now, in the summer of 2018, I have a complete awakening. I decide I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I decide to work on improving myself and to start listening and growing again. I've done intense study on personal growth and aligning our goals with our habits. And this 7 year journey has been extraordinary and brought me to a place of deep personal alignment with my true self. And I've realized personal, professional, and spiritual growth since then. Now, once I saw the light in the mirror, it dawned on me. I'm meant to inspire others. That is what my true self is meant to do. That is what that still small voice inside has been telling me for decades. Living as a lawyer and then clean energy entrepreneur isn't living as my true self. Now, I still run my clean energy company, but I'm not making enough impact every day. Writing books and inspiring you is my true calling. What is your true calling? In the immortal words of Nelson Mandela, who lived fully through struggle and triumph, there is no passion in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. I want you to live the life of your dreams, which you can do today by living as your true self. Live the life that you are capable of living. You can't live the extraordinary life of your dreams by playing small, by just going through the motions. Don't go through the motions at work. Make your motions work. We're here to set big goals and then create a clear plan to achieve those goals, followed by the habits that will make those dreams and goals come to life. That's how you're going to thrive in 2026. Be bold and be specific. Be bold and be specific. Famous business strategist and author of it's like a seminal business book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. Studies, why the handful of companies have been great. And he boiled it down to essential leadership skills. Now, Jim Collins said, if you have more than three priorities, you have none. So we're going to set no more than three big goals in 2026. It's fine to set one or two, even three, but no more than three. Because if you have more than three priorities, you have none. We're all so scattered and spread thin nowadays, trying to do everything and respond to every text and email and social post that we give everything only our partial attention. So if you want to thrive in 2026 and achieve big goals, you have to limit your focus. And like I said before, you got to say no a lot more. The most successful people are successful not by what they say yes to, but by what they say no to. So we created the system that if you use this, the true self system, you're going to refine your goals and then set daily habits that will make realizing those goals inevitable so that you're in that 9% of folks that achieve your New Year's goals. So here's what we do. First, I envision a future scenario of myself 3 years in the future who's happier, kinder, and wiser than I am today. I meditate on meeting that person, on meeting my future self. I imagine spending time with them. I then write a letter from my future self to my current self, which is usually, I've done it a few times. I find it's filled with, grace and encouragement and pride in what you've done and forgiveness, just telling me to forgive myself and not be so hard on myself and to realize how far I've come. And I have that letter sitting by my desk. I read it, every few months or so. It's amazing what your future self can share with you if you just listen. I choose 3 years out because it's far enough out for substantial change to occur, but it's not so far that you can't clearly imagine it. Like 3 years, a lot of our debit cards now, are going to expire in more than 3 years from now. We set up pins and things that are going to last 3 years. So 3 years out, it's short enough that you can see it, and it's long enough away that you can get yourself there by deliberate practice. So then I imagine meeting myself again, but only 1 year out. And we're going to work on meeting ourselves at the end of 2026 on my way or on your way to that big future that you imagine. Then I fill out my true goals worksheet according to that vision, which breaks your goals down from big ideas down to tiny steps, meaning from, big long-term goals to annual, quarterly, and monthly goals. And then we break that down, those big ideas, to tiny habits that you can accomplish every single day. And we're going to give you the habitually inspired habit tracker. I should have said this earlier, but forgive me. If you've been writing furiously, you don't need to take notes. We will provide the recording for you. And you're going to have a recording of today, but we're also going to give you the True Goals worksheets, the habitually inspired habit tracker, and the Epic Daily Ritual Guide, which has tons of great information in it for establishing a routine that helps you achieve your goals. So yes, we will make the slide. I'm not sure, Chad. Do we make the slide deck available to folks, or it's just in the recording? Chad will answer yes. So we'll give you the slide deck as well. So we're going to share all that with you. So yeah, sorry, Bob. My fault, Bob. I should have let you know that earlier. You've been writing for 52 minutes now. I'm so sorry. I got to remember to make that announcement earlier when we're getting going. So as you have all those down and you're working on your True Goals worksheet, you just want to make your goals big and simple. Take away all the nonsense that wastes your day. Just strip away everything that is not your true self. Get rid of all the distractions and focus in on your goals. I don't know if we have it in here, but I love this quote about focus by Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee said, the successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. So strip away all the nonsense, everything that is not your goals. Strip away everything that is not your true self. Say no to everything else. Take away all that nonsense that wastes your day. Get rid of all the distractions and focus in on your goals. You want to get ready to climb higher than you ever have and achieve those goals this year because it's your time to thrive. Now, I want you to, we've talked about setting big goals and realizing your true selves. And you probably didn't picture, Pamela, that your, or Bob, that your true self would be, hands cramped. So I'm going to give you some freedom and just enjoy the time here and go through some of the visualization exercises. So now I want you to imagine your life 3 years from now. So just like we did at the beginning, I want you to close your eyes. And if closing your eyes isn't comfortable, just bring your gaze down low and return to that breath, breathing in and out through your nose, just calmly breathing. I know I get kind of excited sometimes, so let's try to bring it down a little bit. Imagine if on the other side of this Zoom is yourself 3 years from in the future. You're going to meet yourself at the end of 2028. So 26, 27, and 28. You're going to meet yourself at the end of 2028, 3 years from now, fully alive, successful, peaceful. As you go to meet that person, interact with them, ask them questions. Imagine that confident, powerful, purposeful vision of yourself is vibrant and full of life, but you go and meet them. Go to your power place or your happy place, whether that's the mountains or the beach or maybe your backyard or someplace you went on vacation. Go someplace where you feel like your true self, where you feel strength, happiness, and confidence. Go somewhere and meet your future self. Just close your eyes, meet yourself 3 years from now, and spend a few minutes with them. Now, I'm going to encourage you to do this again after the workshop for 15 to 30 minutes or even longer. But what does that person live like? Ask them how they spend their days. Ask them what they've accomplished. Go spend some time and ask some questions of yourself 3 years from now. What have they learned? Take just a few minutes. I'll give you maybe 3 or 4 minutes to do this. And again, I advise you to do it when you have longer time, but return to your breath and imagine meeting your future self 3 years from now. How do they appear? What have they accomplished? All right, take just another few seconds, bring some presence back to your body. Don't worry, your future self will still be there to go visit. Now, after doing that, I hope you enjoyed meeting yourself 3 years from now. Hopefully, you like that version of yourself that you saw. And I want you to take another couple minutes because this is our aligned New Year's workshop. I want you to meet yourself at the end of this year. It's December 31st, 2026. We just celebrated New Year's a couple days ago. Hopefully, you started the year off strong and positive and ready to go, not hungover and not dreading the new year, but instead excited. And that's part of the reason that you're here is you want to make this year your best year yet. Now, go to the end of 2026. Close your eyes and envision meeting yourself at the end of 2026 on the way to meeting that version of your future self. What are they doing? What are you doing at the end of 2026? What have you accomplished this year? What does your daily routine look like at the end of this year? That strong and confident person that you met 3 years from now, by the end of this year, you're going to be 1/3 of the way there. What does that daily routine look like that gets you there? What do you say no to this year? How are you different at the end of 2026 than you are from today? What have you accomplished by the end of this year? That's how we're going to set our goals. So I want you to take another couple minutes. And again, we're just doing a brief introduction to this concept. I want you to take time right now. We're just going to do, 2, 3 minutes. But after we get done with this workshop, sometime in the next few days, as you're working on your big goals for 2026, I want you to meet your future self. I want you to go through these exercises and truly spend some time because that's your true self and that's your higher power. That is who you're meant to be. You don't just work on goals by typing them out on a computer or writing them out on a whiteboard. You have to slow down. You have to find stillness. You have to discover your purpose and your true self and your higher power by letting them speak to you. So take 2 to 3 minutes right now and imagine your life at the end of 2026. Where are you? What are you doing? What have you accomplished? What is your daily routine like? What do you say no to? So take, a couple minutes now and imagine yourself at the end of this year. Take another 30 seconds or so. And start to bring some presence back. Now, I've been spending some time over the last week imagining myself at the end of 2026 and working on my goals from the end of the year instead of just setting them, what do I want to accomplish this year, but rather, what is it that I have accomplished this year? You want to make it tangible. You want to make it aligned with your true self. So now, as you're fully present, I hope you enjoyed meeting yourself at the end of this year as well. And the end of this year, it's 12 months. We got 360 days to accomplish our big goals and to get closer to that long-term vision of ourselves 3 years from now. So bring out your journal or piece of paper to write on. What did your future self show you? How did they appear? How did they carry themselves? How are they different than you are today? And again, I want you to do this later. I want you to do these exercises in greater depth because we'd only have a certain amount of time today. But with the time given, just really quickly, what are 3 big goals that align with your true self? So I want you to take, no more than 2 minutes and just try to jot down, if you can think of 3 goals that align with your true self that you met, the version of you 3 years from now. Maybe it's 3 goals that you want to make for 2026. So either 3 goals that you want to make to accomplish in the next 3 years, or maybe it's 3 goals that you want to accomplish in this year. No more than 3. But what did your future self show you? And again, always feel free to share, write your answers in the chat or raise your hand to share. But what are 3 goals that align with your future self? And take, another 2 minutes, minute and a half or so, jot down those goals. All right, we're going to keep going here. Thank you for sharing. Feel free to put anything in the chat or raise your hand if you wish, but we're going to keep going here. Thank you, Pamela, that you can do what you put your mind to. And I do want you to be, I said earlier, be bold and be specific. Make sure you're spelling out what you're putting your mind to, and be clear on, what it is you want to accomplish for the year. And the True Goals worksheet that we'll send you will certainly help with that. So be bold and be specific, but make sure you get it down and you're clear on your goals. Um, and that version of you that you just met, that's confident and calm and clear, it's not that far away. But that version of yourself, your future self, does live on the other side of clarity and aligned habits. And the truth is, you don't just think your way into becoming your future self. You have to experience your way into it by actually doing it. That's exactly why your habits are so important. They're how you make sure you're living as your true self each day. So we're going to start getting into habits. Becoming your true self and living your life on purpose can take years or even decades. Sadly, most people never even get there. Aligned habits shape your identity over time, which is why we created the True Self Project, this 30-day habit challenge you heard me talk about earlier. We're going to share with you at the end as well. And through this 1 month experience, each day for 30 days, you're immersed in actions that help make a habit of living as your true self so that you can live as your true self in just 1 month instead of taking a lifetime. So we're going to talk more about it at the end, but just know it's real and it's going to be available. And it's something that you can do in order to live as your true self and create the habits and the actions to get there. And now we want to build habits that reinforce your true self, that version of you that you just met. Now we're going to turn your vision of your true self, that version of you that you just met, we're going to turn that into repeatable, grounded action so that you can live as your true self each day. Your habits, which are your daily practice of becoming your true self. You have to practice each day to be the person that you're meant to be. When I began the regular practice of meditating and journaling 7 years ago, it felt awkward at first. And I don't know why it felt awkward. I don't know. I guess maybe I was worried my wife or kids might walk in while I was sitting there in the lotus position and think I'm, crazy, and maybe they're right, but you know, it felt awkward. And I stuck with it though, and it became natural and heartfelt and habitual. I did it this morning at 5 a.m. Now it's part of my daily life and one of the best parts of my life. And habits, both good and bad, are hard to break. And heaven knows I've had my bad habits, like earlier in life, smoking or using weed and staying up too late. But it's a lot easier to break bad habits when you have good habits and positive reinforcement to replace them. In the words of Aristotle, and this is perhaps my favorite quote, it hangs behind my desk in my office. It says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Positive habits are the key to making your dreams and your goals real. And to get into a routine of positive habits, it's worthwhile to track your habits. There's a saying, you can't improve what you don't measure. So you want to measure and track that which you want to improve. Don't wait for the future to happen. You want to start being that person you're meant to be now. Start being your future self now. It doesn't have to be profound or difficult. You want to just make it simple. The habitually inspired habit tracker that we created is simply a way of tracking up to 10 daily habits. I got mine here. My January one, I printed out this morning. Usually I do a little bit earlier, but it was hectic. So here's an example of one, August of 2025. So here are some of the things that I'm tracking. Sleep by 10, wake by 5, meditate, journal, hour of flow. I've actually changed that to 90 minutes of flow on my top priority, meaning handle my top priority early in the day. Read a spiritual book, read the Tao Te Ching. I've now changed those a little bit. I'm working on my next book, Habitually Inspired. So that was some of my inspiration. Consume 30 to 60 minutes of quality content, whether that's videos, lesson, reading something productive. 30, 60 minutes of quality content each day. Those are the things that inspire me. Those keep my thoughts positive. keep my life on track, and also inspire me to write new material. Exercise or yoga, take care of my physical body, and finally PM journal. I'll explain that in a little bit, but that is at the end of each day, I journal in this, the best journal ever, as it's unabashedly titled. Um, Three things: how you want to show up the next day, your wins for the day, and how you want to show up. How you want to show up, and then your top three priorities for the following day, so that you end your day planning for the next day. So as soon as your feet hit the floor the next day, you know exactly where to go because you close the day strong, listing your priorities for the next day. So that's the habit tracker. It doesn't have to be profound or difficult. Just make it simple. Um, the chart's broken out by week, and you just write the habits that you want to work on, practice regularly, or improve that help you improve your personal, professional, and hit those goals. Those things that improve your mind, your body, and your spirit. Maybe you want to track progress on a work goal or a fitness goal or a financial goal. I lost over 30 pounds from tracking my intermittent fasting. For now, let's just focus on what you want to improve and start tracking it. And you try to make those habits that will help you achieve your three big goals. So you'll see in the habit tracker, which we shared there and we'll also email to you after, that at the bottom of the habit tracker are sections for your goals. So at the bottom, you list your goals there, and that way you're able to align your habits with your goals. And you align your monthly and quarterly goals with your annual goals. I've been tracking my daily habits now for over 5 years. We are what we repeatedly do. Remember the Aristotle quote: excellence is not an act, but a habit. So it may change slightly from month to month or quarter to quarter based on what you're working on or trying to improve. For example, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I used to get up and meditate and journal from like 5 to 6:30 or so. But last year when I was working on my first book, Light in the Mirror, I added right from 5:30 to 7 as my first activity of the day. And that way there are no distractions and my brain is fresh and in the right state for me to write. So that's why I did it. And I got done in 6 months. It helped me, meaning tracking my habits, helped me hit the goal of writing my book in 6 months because I did it every day and I tracked it. I made that commitment to myself and I hit my goal. Now, do I get to every single habit every single day? Sadly, no. Again, 5 kids, multiple businesses, life gets in the way. And I miss one or two of the habits. But on the days when I'm at my best, I hit them all. And those days become more frequent the longer I track my habits. I make time for them. I make sure I do these like my life depended on it. Because you know what? My future self does depend on it. I can't reach my goals and become my true self if I'm not doing these habits. So as I go along, I have more days at my best and I hit them all more often. That which is being measured is actually improving. So you want to track what works best for you. Look at your goals you're setting and see what you need to do to hit those goals and make those areas your daily habits. Like, remember, you envisioned your future self. What is the person you dream of being? What does that person do each day? You journaled about this vision of yourself in 3 years. What does your future self do each day that you aren't doing now? Pick those things and be that person by practicing each day, and you'll quickly become that person. My life is improving each day because I'm tracking that which matters most to me, and I'm holding myself accountable by tracking it. Now, remember, I also mentioned an accountability partner. I also text my big three activities for each day to my accountability partner, and that helps. But I'm now living as my true self. So you want to start living like, dressing like, being like that person you envision. It's you, but different. It's the person you're meant to be. So if you practice being that person, you will start to become that person. Who do you want to become? Are you fired up to become that person? Jim Rohn said, motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. So you want to be motivated and fired up to get going, but you don't want to lose that momentum. So you start making it a habit. You start tracking those things so you become that person. We're here to live aligned, to set big goals
that energize us for the future. But this time, we're going to accomplish those goals because we're going to put habits in place that make achieving those goals inevitable. So now we've talked about habits. I want you to take just a couple minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, write 5 to 10 habits that will help you achieve the big goals that you wrote earlier. What are 5 to 10 habits that will help you achieve the big goals that you wrote at the end of last section? So we're going from your big vision of yourself, your long-term vision for yourself, down to a shorter-term vision for yourself, to setting big long-term, annual, quarterly, and monthly goals. Now we're getting down to 5 to 10 habits. They don't have to be every day. They may be 3 to 5 times a week or once a week, but what are habits in place that help you achieve those big goals? Now, the habits may not apply directly to the goals, but they allow you to become the type of person that will achieve those goals. So take, 2 or 3 minutes. What are 5 to 10 habits that will help you achieve your big goals? All right, take another 30 seconds. And again, these are all activities you can do later using the habit tracker. You can work on your habits, align those with your goals put in the True Goals worksheet. All right. So feel free to share those in the chat. I'm going to keep going. If you do want to share, we can revisit those if you want to share any of the habits. Or like I said, you have my email. If you want any feedback on setting the habits or working on the goals, by all means, reach out. Happy to help support you in that. Now, in this last section, we want to talk about overcoming setbacks. We started out today's workshop by covering, things that we put in the past, but may not have worked out and why they didn't, setting goals in the past and resolutions and things that we didn't achieve. And we talked about why, but I want to make it so that if you do get knocked off, or if something pops up, we want to talk about overcoming setbacks and building resilience so that nothing will stop you, so that you will achieve those goals and start on your path towards living as your true self. Because when you set aligned goals and you build the habits to match, you're not just chasing results, you are becoming someone new. Now, stuff always gets in the way. Things always come up. Like, I was working really hard on my goals in 2025, and I started the year. Remember, I said we started this Thrive in 25 course, and that went great. I was really focused on, you know, wrapping up my book and finishing editing and working, with my editor. And I was working on launching workshops and planning a retreat and also continuing, other projects. And all of a sudden, it was Memorial Day weekend, and my wife ruptured her Achilles while dancing at a kid's party at a bar mitzvah. And no joke, the the irony here, she was dancing to the Kesha and Pitbull song Timber. It's going down, it'll be a night you won't remember. Well, we remember it. Everything ground to a halt. It was right before the kids were about to be done with school, 2 weeks before school was out, and she had to have surgery that same week that they kids were finishing up school. She was in a wheelchair, and she was basically bedridden for almost 6 weeks as school was wrapping up and summer was starting, and my life ground to a halt. I ended up taking care of her and our 5 kids, and I didn't have my better half to rely on, and I was also caring for her, and it was tough. I mean, and so actually one funny story came out of that is I was doing all the carpools, packing all the lunches, tucking everyone in, picking out all the clothes, doing all the laundry, everything. And so um, I I took my kids to school. It was like second to last day of school, before summer started. And we pulled up, and I forgot my now 4-year old, then 3-year old daughter Gloria's shoes. And I'm like all a mess. I'm supposed to have a 8:30 conference call for work, and I end up texting them. I'm gonna have to reschedule or push it back. And she and I run over to Target down the street, got her a pair of sandals, whatever cheapest ones they had, put them on, and I went to go walk her in. And she's like, "Well, why can't you drop me off at the drop-off line like we normally do?" And I said, "Because I forgot your shoes." And she turned to me and said, "Daddy, I forgot my shoes too." And so it was one of those moments of like, in all my frustration and all the chaos, it just made me giggle at the absurdity of my own predicament. And, we got through it. I mean, my wife is, doing physical therapy still all these 6 months later. But we're, getting back to normalcy. And look, things always knock us off. I mean, I was way off my goals and habits. I was barely even able to feed myself, eat and shower and stuff. I was taking care of everyone else. And it was tough. And I was way off of my goals for this year. But I was able to catch up. And not only was I able to catch up, I knew exactly where to go as she got better and I got, more time back into my day. I knew exactly where to go because I'd laid it all out. My goals, my habits, everything was there waiting for me when I was able to get back to it. So when something comes up, or when you take a risk and you listen to your inner voice and you pursue a path, it's not about whether you get to the end goal. There will always be twists and turns. It's not about the destination, but about who you become in the process. When you set big, crazy goals, even if you fall short, you're much further ahead than you were before. And look, tracking your habits, it's not a test. You're not failing if you don't finish them all every day. You're not competing against others. You're keeping track so that you can improve. Some weeks won't be as strong as others. Yet, if you want to live in bliss, then keep tracking and improving. It's not always perfect, but the more you work at it and trust your true self as your guide, the more you stick to your healthy habits and come back to your true self. No matter how busy you are and what negativity impacts your life, you're never too busy or distracted to take 2 seconds to look yourself in the mirror, lock eyes with yourself, and say, "I love you." You've got to keep going. even when you don't feel it. In fact, when you don't feel it is the perfect time to reset. When your computer or your phone isn't working properly, you reboot. When you get that, dreaded spinning wheel of death that shows your computer's frozen and nothing's coming back, when you can't get anywhere. When things aren't going well and you're off your game, reboot yourself, just like you would reboot your computer. You do this by going back to your goals and your habits and then begin again. This is your reboot. This brings you back to your true self. This brings you back to accelerating towards your big goals. Your habits keep you going and help you get back to who you're meant to be. When a challenge, a tragedy, or even just a bad day knocks you off track, get back to tracking. Get back to tracking your habits and find your alignment within yourself again. When bad days happen, it's just like the sun. On a cloudy day or a rainy day, you don't see the sun, but it's still there. Your goals and your habits are still there for you. Your true self is there waiting for you, and they appear the next day, just like the sun comes up after a cloudy or rainy day. When you're clear on your goals and your habits, you know exactly where to go. The sun comes back out. So even if you get knocked off, you get back to tracking and improving. Now, before we leave today, I just want you to commit to taking one small action. So, what is one small action that you'll take in the next 24 hours to move towards your true self, to make 2026 your best year yet? What's one small action that you'll take in the next 24 hours to move towards your true self? It may be working on your True Goals worksheet, or it may be working on your habit tracker, or doing your visualization exercises, meeting your true self and journaling about it, getting clear on the vision for yourself, setting goals, scheduling them, scheduling in that time to do your body surfing, Gary. I'm sorry, Carl. Do those things that are going to make you better. Schedule that time. What's one small action you'll take in the next 24 hours to move towards your true self? And feel free to share that in the chat. But now it's time to climb into the space shuttle. It's time to launch. Look, staring at the stars is inspiring, but it's not going to make you an astronaut. It's time to launch. But if you're ready to launch, the voyage only begins, though, with that decision to climb aboard and soar to your destination. I know it's painful not being who you know you're meant to be. It's painful wishing you could be that person you see in your mind, that true self that you envision. And it seems like it's either impossible or it's taking forever to get there. But it doesn't have to be painful. These are choices. This is your life to choose. So you can either continue to go through the motions at work, or you can make your motions work. You can stay in the harbor and stare at the sea, or you can cross the ocean. You can stay in that same painful job or create the career you want. You can stare at the phone, or you can play with your kids. You can busy yourself on social media, or you can make real progress on your goal. You can sing the song you're meant to sing, or you can keep it bottled inside. These are all choices, and some of these are tough choices, but they're all yours and yours alone to make. And I love this quote by Elizabeth Appel about becoming who you're meant to be. She said, "And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." This is your year to blossom. Your life is only created by you, and we all create our own reality by our mindset and by the choices we make. You can choose to live a life of happiness and bliss by deciding to do so. But staying tight in your bud is far more painful than the risk it will take for you to blossom. At any stage in life, this holds true. It's never too late to be who you're meant to be. Be honest with yourself. Are you living the life you're meant to live? Are you achieving the one thing that inspires you the most? If not, in 2026, it's time to blossom. It's time to live life inspired. You're capable of living an extraordinary life. Make it big. Do not play small. Do not settle. You know what you're capable of. You just need to get it out of your head, down on paper, and then take action every morning to get you closer to who you're capable of being. But it can't be small. You won't take any action if you have a small goal because it doesn't matter that much. As Les Brown put it, most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. Don't aim for these low targets accomplished by menial tasks this year. Aim high in life. Aim high in 2026. You're meant to live an extraordinary life. If you invest in yourself and start what was recommended here today, you'll find true freedom and happiness. So you can make excuses or you can awake with intention. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. And then implement the steps prescribed today to return to your true self and be the person you are meant to be. Now, I know the journey isn't always smooth and roadblocks always pop up unexpectedly. I have them pop up all the time. But the tools provided today make the journey smoother and get you around the roadblocks faster. Those that love you will be there for you. I love you and will be there for you on your journey. I'm always here to help guide you up the mountain as you climb to meet your true self. As your feet hit the floor tomorrow morning, simply say to yourself, it's going to be an amazing day. I do this every single day. It's how I start every day. My feet hit the floor, or at least on the short walk to the bathroom, I say to myself, it's going to be an amazing day. You start your day off powerfully. Walk into the bathroom, step in front of the mirror, lock eyes with yourself, and say, I love you. And then go spread that light out into the world. The world needs your light to shine brightly now more than ever. As you awake with intention, with your goals set and your habits aligned, put down the phone, turn off the negative news, and just listen to that still small voice inside. Listen to yourself and your higher power, and then write down what you hear. But don't wait. Turn what you wrote down into action you can take today to live the life of your dreams, to be the person that you are meant to be, to live your life of love, happiness, and bliss. And do it here in 2026. You can live the life of your dreams. What you learned today is a solid foundation for living as your true self. But truly living focused and free takes practice and consistency. We've now launched the True Self Project. It's a 30-day habit challenge, which is a 30-day on-demand course where you can turn those lessons that we learned today into a daily practice and start living confidently, undistracted as your true self in only a month rather than the years it took me. The True Self Project is only $30. That's $1 a day. But if you use the code here, you can do it for only $25. So I think we're going to give you a code and we're going to make that available. You can get that course today. You put in TSP5 off. It's there in the chat. So for only $25, we want to make this available to as many people as possible. We took from July till the middle of December to work on this course, and we made it powerful because we want to share these tools with everyone. And we've made it affordable so that everyone can do it. And you can order the course now. And also, if you do sign up today, we're making an offer, which is you'll get a free one-on-one coaching session with me during the challenge to help keep you on track. So, depending on how many people sign up, we're only going to offer this for a little bit, but if you sign up today, we'll make that available. I will do a one-on-one coaching session with you. We can work on your goals. We can work on your habits. We can work on visualization and help manifest the year that you want. So we're going to be starting community meetings soon, starting this Friday, January 9th. We'll make those available to everyone. Those are free. It's just a supportive community for Inspiration Nation anyone who wants to attend can attend, and we'll give you support whether you're doing the True Self Project or just working on goals and want to join us for a community meeting. So hope you can join us for those. Sign up for the True Self Project. And we have a little bit of homework for you today, and you're probably going to recognize I've told you this while we were doing the workshop, and that is you want to take at least 15 minutes to imagine meeting yourself in 10 years or in 3 years. You want to meet yourself in the future. We did it earlier, but I want you to take, 15 to 30 minutes and do it. Notice how you look, how you carry yourself, what you've accomplished, what wisdom you have to share with yourself. That is your true self. You can live life on purpose by knowing who it is that you're meant to be. And then do the practice of writing a letter from your future self to yourself today. That person you met in your mind, in your visualization, you write that from the person in the future to your current self. And you want to keep it and refer back to it regularly. It's your true self telling you exactly where to go. And lastly, you found us, and I appreciate you being here today. So take a couple minutes and follow us on social media. So we have social media, but we're also starting to make a lot of our videos available on YouTube. So available there on YouTube, just search Ben Parvey and you'll be able to see our channel there. And I'm also happy to stay if anyone has any questions. Like I said earlier, everything's going to be available. You'll get a recap email probably later today or tomorrow that'll have your habit tracker and your True Goals worksheet and our Epic Daily Routine checklist. So those will all be available and coming over to you. And join us on social media, and then I'm happy to stay here and answer any questions if anyone has. Deborah.
Hi, Ben. I have really gleaned a lot by doing your workshop repeatedly, and I really appreciate how you made this one very meaningful for the new year. It just is a great fit, and I so appreciate that. I want to say that first. You and your team have done a fabulous job. And then secondly, I did sign up for the course. My husband and I are going to travel from Tennessee next week to LA to see 3 of our grandchildren.
Oh, great.
And we're going to go to their theater performances. And because of that, I know I won't have my my Mickey Mouse ears on to really pay attention to the course. And so I was wondering if I could, I'm thinking of doing a 30-day course when we get back, which will be, towards the end of, in the week of the 20s of January through the end of most of February. So, maybe I'll do the 30 days, like January 25th through February 25th, something like that, or 28 to 28. Don't know if this.
No, you can also start it and then pick it up. It's not.
Okay.
It's the videos are all there, and you can get. You could do it in. I mean, technically, I guess you could do it in a day if you want to watch all the videos. But I suggest doing it in 30 days. But my point is, you could do it in 30 days, or you could do it in 60 days. Once you've signed up for it, you can do the videos on the True Self Project in any way.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you, Sally. Appreciate it. Best of luck, and look forward to doing the True Self Project.
And is it possible to watch it one time all the way through and then another time all the way through?
Yeah, absolutely. So each one is a daily video. So each day is a daily video with journal prompts and exercises.
Oh, great.
So similar to the way we do each of these sections, generally the videos are about 5 to, I think the longest one's maybe about 18 minutes or so.
Okay.
So they're digestible in each day. You can watch each one and then do the journal prompts and the exercises. So you can start whenever you're ready.
Oh, wonderful. And then for the one-on-one coaching session, how do I go about scheduling that with you?
Yep, you can just email me and we'll work on schedule.
Great.
I guess we can also make calendar available as well. But yeah, just email me. We'll set up a time to do that. You got.
I'm thinking I'll go through the course first and then contact you. Kind of end of February. Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was great.
Thank you.
I look forward to looking through the programming and the slides especially. Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll get that over to you and look forward to doing our one-on-one coaching session. And if you have any questions while you're doing the 30-day, by all means, reach out then too. You know, we can do the coaching
Great.
session after, but if you have any questions while you're working on it, happy to support you in that.
Thank you so much.
Of
Have a great,
course.
happy new year to you and your growing,
Yes.
your growing quiver.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thanks for all your support, Deborah. It's been wonderful having you on different workshops.
Oh, appreciate you guys. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Safe travels. Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Jackie. Anyone have any questions or want any feedback on goal setting or anything? Happy to answer any questions and, happy to do it now. And also, like I said, my email's there. If you want questions or feedback or schedule a coaching session, let me know. All right. Well, best wishes to everyone. Have a very joyful, peaceful, and prosperous 2026. May you live habitually inspired and look forward to seeing you out there. Thank you so much. Talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.